Hi, Internet. I'm Jason Ward from MakingStarWars.net. Hi, Rob. Rob.
And am I
Rob.
supposed to keep? And what? Can you not hear me?
I can hear you. Yeah.
All right. Okay. Whatever.
How's it going?
It's all right.
All right.
It's
All right.
okay. I'm looking forward to possibly getting cast in a Star Wars movie. I mean, I am a ghost. I
Ghost. Yeah.
mean, yeah, I'm thinking, I am a fan of Linda Lost. I've been supporting. I remember when Prometheus came out.
Yeah.
He went on Instagram. He apologized. I was like, dude, man, this is when he didn't have a lot of followers, right?
Oh, okay.
And so I go, hey man, I really enjoyed the movie. And he was like, you're too kind. Like, just don't. Like, just
Really?
stop. Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
I loved it. I actually
He
thought
was,
it was good, but
yeah. It was the one time I talked to him, and he was super not happy with him. So I don't know. I was
I
like,
never thought Alien was good because of the xenomorphs themselves. Some
yeah. I
people,
mean, look, what
that's what they
Prometheus
like, but
did do that I was really interested. Is it added all this lore and stuff that I thought was cool, like the Sentinel like dudes who create life and shit. It's just for some reason, man, Ridley Scott thought it'd be great if he took out all the alien shit, and that threw off people. Whether you agree with it or not, it threw off audiences for no reason. And since it was already there, they may as well just kept it. It didn't do anything.
yeah, Julian just asked, Lars is for sure lying, right? And thank you for being a channel member, Julian.
Metallica's Lars?
I will say, Lars, yeah, they should probably get ahead of this right now. Because if they don't get ahead of it right now, it's probably going to come out very, very soon.
What are we talking about?
Lars Mikkelsen is claiming he hasn't been offered Thrawn.
Oh. Yeah, that's a lie.
It's fucking bullshit.
Yeah,
It's
that's fucking bullshit.
Like right now, if I had the permission, I'd love to pull the trigger on that and drop that.
Shh, Jason. You're gonna get yourself in trouble. You're gonna get yourself in
No,
trouble.
no, I know. I mean, since they've said it's not true, what I've seen must be fake. Therefore, I must be able to release it.
Right.
That's my thinking. But yeah, so I'm not promising that. Don't go on Reddit and say I promised that or something like that. But I'd love to.
Go on Reddit and say I promised that. The ghost promised you.
Right.
And he's look, from one blue alien to another. He's definitely Thrawn. You know?
Yeah. Yeah. It's funny. By the way, and hey Meg, Meg, I hope you're having a good day. Guess what, Meg? After we talked today, the slate for Disney films hit an updated list. And I haven't really got to look at it yet. It happened as soon as I was about to go say hi to Rob. So let's look at what we got. For 2023, we got Ant-Man and the Wasp, Quantumania. Okay, whatever.
Oh, yeah. Right.
Chevalier. Okay, so
that,
to start
no one cares.
It might be good. I don't know. I don't think about it though.
Yeah, it'll probably be up for an Oscar. One of those movies you never hear about.
Yeah, Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3.
Okay.
All right. I really kind of don't give a fuck. The Little Mermaid also kind of don't give a fuck. That one is funny to me though, that a bunch of people that watched a cartoon about somebody literally changing their species is mad that the lady's black. It's like, the fuck? The Boogeyman. Okay. Elemental. Indiana Jones and the Dial of Destiny. Now that's the one I care about. That's the only movie I think I care about.
I can't believe that's a title.
Hey, I mean, they're all kind of wacky until you see them, right? I mean, anyways, the Marvel.
It's just I don't know, man. It feels like second tier LucasArts like novels, not even like the games, like the novels based on a game. You know, like
yeah, it's not growing on you at all.
No, I wish it would, man. Look, I was the guy defending the Phantom Menace. I didn't even hate Attack of the Clones. They just you weren't fighting the clones. It didn't make any fucking sense when I saw the movie. I was like, it's weird. It's called the Clone Wars.
It does. It makes the clones literally attack. They just don't attack.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, it's stupid. It's stupid. It's dumb. It's dumb. So But this is just
I
like,
saw them attack.
it feels like something, like I said, that feels like something Stan Lee would write in a bullpen in the back of the Marvel comic, you know? Indiana Jones and the Dial of Destiny.
Don't touch
Yeah.
that dial of destiny, true believers.
True believers, you know? Like,
Yeah.
yeah.
Well, my whole thing about it is like Indiana Jones and the Raiders of the Lost Ark is the official title for the
That wasn't what it was
library.
called. Like, whatever.
Yeah, yeah,
Revisionist
and it wasn't
bullshit.
called A New Hope, and then,
Yeah.
and
Yeah, it's
it
both
was
Star
called I
Wars.
Love You, and then she didn't love me anymore. So fucking what? Things change, okay? No,
Do they?
yeah, they do.
you
Um,
really, you
but
really look like a guy who got over something.
mhm, right, no, but I
Yeah.
mean, my only thing about it is like last Indiana Jones and the Last Crusade is maybe the only one that doesn't necessarily have some sort of like scary tinge to it.
And
Like,
then it invokes the Crusades, but yeah, sure.
well, yeah, that's a point of view, right? I mean, when you get down to it. But like as a child, when I didn't know what the fuck the Crusades were, I thought it was Indiana Jones's last adventure, the Last Crusade.
Right.
He's
That's
went
what
on the
it's
crusade.
implying. Yeah.
Yeah, it's a double meaning kind of. It's a good title.
Mhm.
But and then like Temple of Doom, you're like, oh shit, I want to go there. Do I? Sounds cool. But it's like Temple of Doom. And then like you get this one, Dial of Destiny. I'm like, I don't know, man. Like, or and then Kingdom of the Crystal
Dial of
Skull. You're like, what the fuck is that? Like, that sounds freaky. You know what I mean, though? And then like Dial of Destiny, it's like it reminds me of like of Dial soap. Like I imagine like a mom getting off work and having not a sexy but a sensual bath. So I don't know if it really is a good title either. You know, I'm not really in favor of it at this point. Anyways, the
Yeah.
Marvels don't really care. Haunted Mansion probably don't care. I'll see. A Haunting in Venice. I don't know what that is. Next Goal Wins. That's the Taika movie. Going through a lot of reshoots. Hope it's good. True Love, Wish, Untitled Disney is a. I'm going to assume that's not a Star Wars one since they did not one in Star Wars. I know that's dumb. It wouldn't be a Star Wars one. Untitled Disney. This is the start of 2024. Elio and Disney's Snow White. Okay. So it's like. Then we got. Wait, that's
Oh
2020.
Jesus!
2026.
Whatever
Hold
happened
on.
to 2025? Did they just skip that?
No, it's right here. So 2025 is kind of weird because it's Fantastic Four, Untitled Disney, Avengers, The King Dynasty. So Untitled Disney, Untitled Pixar, Untitled Disney, Untitled Marvel,
That's fascinating reading.
and then Untitled Disney, Untitled Marvel, Untitled Disney Animation. They note it's an animated one. And then 1219 is the one that some fakers said was canceled. Nope, there it is. I promise you guys that movie. I think it's going to be good. I think it's going to be the Lindelof one as well.
Yeah, it's the Force Ghost Saga. Force
Wait,
Ghost Saga.
It's been in development longer than the people that don't pay attention or would be willing to admit, and it was being made before it leaked as well. So this isn't a rushed thing. I think that's going to be the next bullshit Mike Zero low tier level, fucking, I don't know. What do you call those people? The people
Assholes.
the assholes with not a lot of brain power in their heads that just that I'm going to call them uncreative liars. If you're going to lie creatively, make it cool, like make it super
Uniform
cool.
Charlie Limas. Yes.
Yeah. I mean, oh man, it turns out it turns out Dave Filoni was writing Enemy Mine fan fiction, and Kathleen Kennedy read it, and then she thought that was his next Star Wars show. She fired it. Yeah, I don't know. Try harder. But anyways, but right here, 12/19/25, Untitled Star Wars. So just in time for Christmas. Might be Hanukkah. I'm not sure, but right there in the holiday season, you're gonna have a Star Wars movie, and I'm telling you, it's going to happen. I really, really, really believe that one is happening, and whether it's good or it's bad, it's coming out. But I think if it's bad, it's not because it was rushed this time. I think it's going to be good. I think it's going to be the Last Crusade. I think it's going to be the Untitled Disney. I think it's going to be the Untitled Marvel. I think it's going to be the Untitled Disney Animation. And then 1219 is the one that some fakers said was canceled. Nope, there it is. I promise you guys, that movie. I think it's going to be the next bullshit Mike Zero low tier level,
Hey
It's
Jason,
not
give me a sec. I gotta re-enter the stream. Give me a bit. All right.
okay. And then after that, when we get into 1226, or sorry, the year 26. Untitled Disney, Untitled Marvel, Untitled Pixar, Untitled Disney, Disney Avengers Secret Wars in May, Untitled Disney, Untitled Pixar, Untitled Disney, blah 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 blah, and then all the way down. Rob's not here for it, but Avatar fucking 4, bro. Avatar 4. And then I thought there was, where's the other Avatar? Avatar 4. Whatever, man. Avatar 4 in 2026. And Rob won't be there. You want to know why? Fake fan. But yeah, and then says I could have sworn Lars was Swedish, but now he's Danish. Yeah, I wasn't sure where they were from. I'm just like, I don't know. They're from the land of Hannibal Lecters. That's what I say. From but look at the chat here. Am I missing anything right here? Whoa, Meg. I think Meg is malfunctioning. Everybody, Meg says Lair Donkey Donkey Show. I don't know what she's talking about. I'll just give it to her. I'll just give it to her. But anyways, you can see that there is a Star Wars movie in 2025. And then when we get to the 2026 slate, there isn't one, which means that they're keeping that kind of Star Wars Avatar kind of like.
Oh, someone said
awkward.
Avatar.
Oh, hey,
Oh,
what's up, Dave?
Avatar. I love
No,
it.
was Avatar 3 on here? Did I?
Mm. Oh yeah,
That's
it was on there. Hey Jason, I just want you to know I am writing Enemy Mine fan fiction. I am.
yeah,
It's
I
gonna
know
be
you
called
are.
instead of Enemy Mine, it's gonna be called Frenemy Mine.
Enemy
Yeah,
Mine. It's
Frenemy
about you and
Mine.
Kathleen Kennedy.
Oh, how'd you know?
Mm-hmm.
You know me so well. You know me so well.
I think I'm tripping out, but
Oh, I'm tripping out right now too.
okay. Avatar 3 is on the very bottom. Avatar 3 is 12/20/24.
I
So the
can't
day before.
wait. I'm gonna get in line right now. Okay, bye. All right.
Yeah. So just basically like 5 days before Christmas, right in that week right there, we get that next Avatar. So
And they're really hoping that Blade movie hits that day, huh?
mhm.
It ain't hit that date.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is it with Wesley Snipes?
No. It's with Mahershala Ali or
Oh
Marshall
shit.
Ali. Yeah. He's dude. It's the guy from. Well, he played the villain in the first season of the Luke Cage, but he Green Book. He won the Oscar for Green Book. Man, he's super good at. He's so good. They killed his fucking character, and that whole series went down. Like,
Oh
like halfway through the first season, you're like, "What are you doing?"
yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I think Daphne Keen is listening to Vogue right here.
I thought that was Max. I was like,
Yeah. Max,
yeah.
Max, if you're in the Acolyte, you have to tell us.
Yeah, why didn't she tell us?
Yeah, just like if you're a cop, you have to tell us.
She doesn't have COVID. She's been filming The Acolyte, just
She's
acting
been
sick to
filming.
get out of. Yeah. Nice try, Max. We figured
makes
it
sense.
out.
All right, so this is from
Hold on. I got to put on the
Bulletin.
Smiths in the background while you got this photo up. One
No,
second.
we'll get demonetized again.
Okay.
Morrissey gets real
Again.
fucking litigious. The name of Daphne Keen's character in Star Wars The Acolyte possibly revealed. Now, see, I'm going to say in this one right here, BestmanBulletin.com was very responsible and said possibly. But I'm going to just throw it out there before we get to the article. If they're making up Star Wars names for the code names, we're in a whole fucking new realm of fucking crazy. You know what I mean? Like, classically, the code names are very much not Star Wars names.
Right.
Referential to status and stuff like that.
Blue
So,
Harvest.
in fact, I'm going to say that there's a chance that Ara is the main character's actual name and not a code. Like for the main character, no, the main character of the series, played by Amandla Stenberg, when she was being cast, when the role was being cast, the part was for Ara. But it should also be noted at the same time that casting was going out, all of the Willow stuff was out there too, and being cast as well, and all of those names ended up being real. So is what it is, you know. I mean, I know Willow's a little bit different, but it's the same company with the same policies and same procedures usually. So
Usually.
Yeah. So, anyways, so we got Dafne Keen. So, and then okay, so Bespin says, listen, before we continue the article, I kindly ask you to consider showing your fucking support and a little fucking appreciation for the fucking work I do by fucking tipping me on my fucking Ko-Fi page or coffee page. I don't
No,
know.
no.
Yeah.
Okay,
And I'm gonna be
it's
honest with you guys.
unprofessional.
I haven't talked to him in a few hours, but he had to take his car to the shop today. So if you're ever gonna go and ever gonna be nice to Mr. Bulletino, now is the time to help Mr. Bulletino out and give him a coffee, because car payments in the UK, man, they ain't cheap. They
That's
got
true.
that people bitch about California and like our smog laws and shit, and I hear like the stuff that they have to do over there. It's like they have to do it every year no matter what. Shit like that. It's like fuck that. All right. So, anyways, Mr. Bulletino goes on to write, Bulletinowitz writes, production on the live action Star Wars series, The Acolyte, is well underway and has been popping up across the United Kingdom since the tail end of October. Currently, the series is filming at Arborfield Green, located in Berkshire. He can't. This guy fucking loves Berkshire. You should move to Berkshire, dude. I think you're all about Berkshire. You ever notice that? It's always Berkshire with him. Not too far away from where production is primarily taking place, Shinfield Studios. Just last month, we got
Berkshire,
Berkshire,
Marin County Shire, Oakland Shire. Yeah, they
fucking
got all the same shit.
Hobbit in the Shire. It's
They
all the
got
same.
whatever we have. They just had Shire to it. You know how like in Southern California you had El Camino to everything, right? Just El Camino, then the name. It's just it goes on forever. Yeah,
Thank you for the super chat, Meg.
it's true.
Meg wrote, a cultured poet once said, taketh me down to the city of paradise, where the lawn be emerald and the bosom be ripe.
Okay.
Oh, methinkest thou ought to bring me to thy slumber. So
You know,
take me down to the city of paradise, where the land be emerald and the bosom be ripe.
you're gonna shit yourself doing that voice, Jason.
I bled through my vocal cords. I can't stop.
I suspect Meg should do readings of the Shakespeare Star Wars, right? Where the Shakespeare
Right.
Star Wars. Yeah, you've seen that book, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
We should get Santa to do it.
They actually sent it to me and I opened it up and I was just like, fucking nerds, and I threw it across the room. I'm not even kidding. That's what I was like, fucking nerds.
And then you invoke the ghost of William Shakespeare. Like,
Yeah.
doth thou summon a nerdith? You know, like, yes, I suppose I did.
Yeah. So, anyways, the series is filming at Airborne Field, located in Berkshire. Just last month, we saw glimpses of various actors in the series in costume when scenes were being shot at the Beacons National Park, located in South Wales. But one cast member was notably absent, Dafne Keen. Daphne is probably best known for starring in Logan alongside Hugh Jackman, where she played the character of X-23.
It was like 20 years ago.
Is it X-23 or X-23? Does it matter?
Does it matter?
Am I going to get comments if I say like X-23? And they're like, actually, it's X-23. Actually, it's 1138, you fucking asshole.
Spider-Man has a dash in his name. You know,
Spider Dash Man.
I wish just once someone in the movie would call it Spider Dash Man. Like, Spider Dash Man. Like, what? It's how it's in the paper. And then you go to J. Jonah Jameson. He puts a dash in there just to fuck with them. You know, Spider-Man wanted a one word, but Jonah added the dash just so people call him Spider Dash Man.
Spider-Man is hyphenating because he's gone woke. Right. In more recent years, has been the lead in the hero of HBO series His Dark Materials, aka Porno, which recently concluded its third season, but she'll soon be making a big ass splash in the Star Wars fandom when she appears in the Acolyte. Keen has been cast in a supportive role within the series, which is led by Amandla Stenberg, and recently revealed that the series will see the Sith infiltrate the Jedi Order. At least they're not penetrating it. You should have wrote penetrate. I think that
It's
would
not
have been
that
better.
hard to just show up in a brown robe and blend right in.
Yeah, to be
Be
like,
honest.
hey, what are you doing here? Oh, I got the force. Like, oh, that's cool. Come on in. We're having burritos for lunch.
You know,
So
Jocasta New invited me to a reading of Shakespeare Star Wars.
yeah, Jocasta New was only 17 at that time. She's really old. It
She's got
remains
80s hair. You know what I
maybe
mean?
she's actually Jocasta New.
She's got 80s twisted sister hair.
It remains to be seen if Keenan's character is on the side of good or evil, but thanks to her talent agency, we now know the name of her character. By the way, she's been a little bit leaky, a little bit leaky. I think, like she's kind of said some things, like her like description of the series was like more in depth. Remember that? Do you remember a couple of days ago when
Yeah.
she let out like what it was about and shit? It's like you need to chill a little bit. But she probably died, so she doesn't care. We just, but also was she in those pictures? I can't remember. There was like speculation if she was in those pictures. I don't know where that washed out. I couldn't tell.
Jason, I
Hey,
can
George.
confirm that Jocasta New's last name was actually Jocasta New Wave.
Right.
So she did have an 80s hair thing going when she was about 17. Yeah.
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 Want to trade some? Want to trade some Jocasta nudes?
Oh.
you pussy hound.
You've been
George,
hanging out with
you're a
John
pussy
Knoll.
hound.
You've been
Pussy
hanging
hound,
out with
George,
John.
get
Yeah,
back.
John
Sorry.
Knoll. He set me up with those back in the day. Yeah. All right,
Okay.
I'm gonna go get my cards. Hold on.
Okay, go make a sandcastle. We just reminded ourselves
I'm gonna make a sandcastle. Hold on.
the name shared by the towel. I know you're a diabetic. We just remind ourselves that the name shared
Make
by
a
the talent
sandcastle.
agency could simply be a code name for the character. And I think this is due diligence because it could be, right? It really could be a code for the character. Highly fucking unlikely in this instance, though, I think. Manla Stenberg's character had the code name Ara when casting. And Lee Jung Jai's Squid Game, I hope I'm saying that right. I've been saying it that way the whole time. I'm going to assume I never heard his name spoken out loud. So, anyways,
Well, he pronounced your last name as weird, so it's fair enough.
weird.
Yeah.
Funny, not really funny story, but one time a friend of mine who I was walking home with from school got an after school detention. And I went with them and she was like, "You're not on the list. You're Jason Ward, aren't you?" I'm like, "No." She's like, "Who are you?" I'm Jason Watto. This is like years before Phantom Menace. And then that became like a joke name for me amongst my friends. And when Phantom Menace was coming out, they're like, "Dude," I was like, "I know, right?" Stupid story. Anyways, Dafne Keen will play the character of Jackie.
No. It's JK, right? Just like on Star Wars 227. Yeah.
Jackie,
bitch.
bitch.
Yeah, JK.
Oh,
shit. Right? Yeah.
Jackie.
Love JK.
Jackie. I'm Jackie Chan.
I just want to put my hands all over you. JK. It's the Sith Lord who has 9-inch fingernails, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
My shopping
Ladybugs.
habit's evil.
Ladybugs.
Jackie, little Jackie, little Jackie Thompson could well be a code name, but at least to me, I can see that name being used in a galaxy far, far away at the House of Mouse because Star Wars is back. The Acolyte. So yeah, I'm just like of the opinion that like Jackie does not have a code name vibe to it at all. Of all of the things we've ever had in the whole history of this stuff, this is one of the ones where I'm like the most sure it's not a code, just based off of hearing it though. Just it's an opinion. But because like I said, usually it's like in the past it was like the original warrior. You know what I mean? The original warrior, like that was a code. Other code was Castro for Saw Gerrera, like Jackie. I mean, I'm gonna Google Jackie really quickly because I didn't do it. I didn't Google Jackie, and is Jackie a thing? Is that like a thing that I don't know about? Jackie on Spotify. It's an artist. It's a Jackie brand. Jackie on Apple Music. So Jackie's a musician or some kind of music act of some kind. So I'm doubting. I doubt that it doesn't look like it's very big either. Yeah. So
It really doesn't.
yeah. So I'm
It's
gonna
like
guess
just a stupid word they made up.
like yeah,
Hmm.
Jackie, little Jackie. All right. So it could be a code name. He says, I can see that name being used in a galaxy far, far away. The Acolyte is set in the High Republic era and was created by Leslie Headland, Russian doll, and will follow a former Padawan, Stenberg, and her Jedi Master, Jung Jai, investigating a series of crimes which leads them to confront sinister forces. In addition to Stenberg, the series will also co-star Charlie Barnett, Russian doll, Jodie Turner Smith, White Noise, oh wow, I watched White Noise. That was kind of terrible. I liked the book. Why I read it years ago, but I did not like the book. Danny Jacinto, The Good Place, Rebecca Henderson, Inventing Anna, Jean Charles Chapman, and Carrie Ann Moss, The Matrix. That was released in 2024. So, and then he says, "Hey, thanks. You listen to my podcast called the Bob Podcast, and you could also buy him a fucking coffee if you want to." And Bespin did another article, and I realized after he did it that we already covered it. But about the Book of Boba Fett lead, and then we covered it yesterday. So yeah, but sounds like her name to me. So yeah, Jackie Rawlings, says Meg. Jackie, she's like droids. I don't want to get. I'm not gonna get into it.
It's from the turf system.
The turf
Yeah.
wars.
Yeah, the turf wars.
I doubt it's very big. Jason Ward, 23. Yeah, that's true. Bespin needs his coffee. It's true, you guys. He does need his coffee. And if he doesn't get it, he won't wake up. If he doesn't wake up, he won't write the news. And if he doesn't write the news, he doesn't produce the show. If he doesn't produce the show, what are we
All
going
of
to do?
reality will crumble like the photograph in Back to the Future.
Oh,
It'll
shit.
just fade away if he doesn't write the news.
Yeah. Yeah. But that's like the so far. Reddit said release the pics or it didn't happen. Right. I think at this point in time, I've proven myself enough. I'm a little bit beyond pics or it
Then it didn't happen.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, they got you, Jason. Ooh.
I know. I just released stuff from it like last week. Actually, was a pick. I think I'm the last person to release an actual pick. So, but I would love to though. You know what I mean? Like it would be.
Yeah,
It would be
really,
fun. The only thing about it
really,
is the people who are connected to it shit their pants or not. You know?
we're really trying to get Reddit's approval around here. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
What are we gonna do if they don't believe us? Oh
I
no!
know. It's almost like if I did that, they would just move the goalpost again and
Oh
say,
yeah. Yeah.
so not a lot of incentivizing to go about with their takes on things. Star Wars makes us actually, Jason, Arborfield Green is pronounced oi oi oi. Come on, you slags. That sounds right. But yeah, so why does Rob's Force Spirit need a mask?
Force herpes. It's airborne. When you get when you become a Force ghost, Force herpes is something you got to avoid because it's airborne. In the yeah. Sorry, I don't want it. So
I remember as a kid watching Ice Pirates, and there was space herpes that were like little critters that ran around like guinea pigs. I want to say from memory. It's been a long time. And then I remember my mom talking shit on some girl and saying she has herpes, and I thought like, oh shit, she has like little gerbils running around her house or something. So, and then Star Wars Santa says Star Wars make remember Slimer and Ghostbusters. Rob's afraid he'll get slimed. Laugh out loud.
yeah, ghost herpes. Yeah.
Jason's
Okay.
oozing leaks, so that makes sense. I don't know if I'm oozing leaks this week. I don't know if I'd go that far, but I appreciate the confidence.
He makes the squishy sound when he adjusts his seat.
Yeah, it's like I was walking in the rain.
Come walking in Memphis.
Yeah, yeah. For some reason, I can't get that George Lucas making sandcastles with Steven Spielberg out of my head.
You and every other article,
It's
but
it's so fucking stupid.
yeah.
Like the idea of these like grown men who like make like Star Wars things and stuff like that, like the really like it's such a fucking dumb myth. Like I'm not saying they didn't have a they weren't just like sitting around in the sand fucking around, but the idea that they like built the sandcastle and like said this thing and like if it's there tomorrow, like it's so fucking fake. Like
Yeah,
there's just
they were
no
probably just getting high and they remember sandcastles, or
yeah
it's code. You know, you know, like it's the
yeah
'70s, dude. Like, come on.
yeah I don't know, but
I'm as Charlie Brown as it gets, and I
mhm,
wouldn't be making sandcastles on the beach. I'd be sitting there being like, "Fucking," I'd stare at the water, wondering what's gonna happen in my life. When do I have to go back to working on documentaries for, bullshit fucking prod? I don't know, but come on, man, stop with this. That's why when you read the article, I'm like, they're gonna go to the sandcastles, aren't they? Aren't
yeah
they? And then they did. And,
yeah, it was kind of funny because I knew that article had a bunch of fluff in it, but I didn't know to what degree. And I was like, well, we'll just check it out on the show and like see what's in it. And then as I was looking, as we read it, I was just like, oh my God, this is fucking terrible.
Well, that's their narrative. They put that out. I know Rinsler put it in
Yeah.
his book and everything, but it's like that still comes from them. So like, the most human I've ever read Lucas and them being portrayed is in Paul Hirsch's book
Hmm.
when he's just like going to dinner and he meets the Lucases and like the way he describes them, they sound more human than how we get. Like Jim Henson ain't going on the beach and making sandcastles when Labyrinth doesn't do well. Like,
Yeah.
it's just I feel like there's some kayfabe to all that bullshit. Like because
Yeah.
maybe they moved some sand around and that became a more endearing story than it really was. They were really drunk as shit on pina coladas, or high as fuck on mushrooms, and then they were seeing sandcastles and sea monkeys, and they were watching Marty Croft, sit in Marty Croft fucking shows all
I wish
morning.
they were that fun. I don't think they were that fun. I don't, Spielberg seems like he was kind of just like a big dork, but
That's true.
I don't know. But,
Hey
but
man,
I,
he knew how to fuck around. Like,
well, did you see that John Williams isn't retiring now?
oh yeah, he bought Twitter and then decided he wasn't gonna quit.
Wait, John Williams didn't buy Twitter.
Oh, he didn't. Oh,
No,
was that
no,
okay? Reddit
no.
lied to me.
He's basically like selling this idea that he's not retiring because Spielberg told him not to because Spielberg needs him to score his movies. And then they're like, okay. So he's like gonna continue to do it. And then remember John Williams leaked that Harrison Ford was gonna retire, and then we get Harrison Ford being all teary eyed. Now Harrison Ford's in all these Marvel films. So my
Well,
theory is
he's in a
no one,
Marvel film like that.
well, I think he's signed on to more than one, hasn't he? Into that
He's
series?
in Thunderbolts, but all
Yeah,
right.
bolts, plural.
Nope.
Um, um,
Okay,
but
James Cameron.
no, I have a theory that they just don't want to retire and build sandcastles with George Lucas. I think it makes sense.
Yeah,
'Cause what else are
I
you gonna
look,
do?
man. I love John Williams, but I haven't exactly been excited for any of his Star Wars music since the Phantom Menace. So, like, or yeah,
Yeah, I
Revenge
don't.
of the Sith.
Slate
I enjoy the
was
score. I just don't
good.
enjoy the music in the movie. But whatever, you know.
Yeah, I mean, same thing with Spielberg. Like Spielberg should have retired with the Fablemans
Well,
because
oh
so
yeah,
like,
with Fablemans, yeah, yeah.
yeah, I think it's a good movie for what it is. It's a bit, it's a bit like it's a kind of an Oscar polished job, when you get down to it. But when you look at like the last 20 years of Steven Spielberg movies, like it kind of like, they Catch Me If You Can a lot. After that, my kind of a whatever, about him. Um
Yeah, same with Kingdom of the Crystal Skull. Shouldn't have made
and
it.
no, get the fuck out of here. Everybody loves Crystal Skull. People
You
love it.
just said after Catch Me If You Can, it didn't matter. Kingdom of the Crystal Skull was after
Indiana
Catch Me If You
Jones,
Can.
the exception to the rule. I'm talking about
No, no,
like,
no, no, no. You
you
forgot your timeline.
you can't pretend like Crystal Skull and like
But
Ready
you
Player
said
One
it.
are
No,
equal.
you, Jason,
Okay,
you said it.
then I corrected myself.
Oh,
But it's like Ready fucking Player One. Like you watch that movie and you're like, this is Steven Spielberg. Like, come on, you know what I mean? Like it's
it
a bit
felt more like Robert Zemeckis. That's what's weird about that movie. But no,
because that's
yeah,
Robert
because
Zemeckis
fully
stuff in
CG,
it.
CGI
But
guys and shit. It's got the Back to the Future in there.
yeah,
But it wasn't a Spielberg movie. It felt more like a Zemeckis film.
yeah, it doesn't really like I don't know. It just doesn't have that like that magic to it that Spielberg sometimes has or used to have. So yeah, I'm like kind of like where like the first decade and a half of Spielberg stuff I'm really into. After that, it's like very few and far between. Lucas
Yeah,
is
I
smart.
don't know. I mean,
Walk
I
away.
was listening to Quentin Tarantino's latest episode of the Video Archives last night. Him and Roger Avery were getting a discussion about um, who the director, Sergio, that not Leone, the other guy that the director like Django, the original Django and stuff, right?
Oh, the guy who everybody thought was Sergio Leone but wasn't.
Yeah, is the other Sergio. They
Yeah,
worked together. They both got
yeah.
famous off a movie doing this the action coordination.
But that's what the Leonardo DiCaprio character thinks he's like going to make a
Yes.
movie with Sergio
Yeah.
Leone, but
They
it's
mentioned
way
this
under
the director in Once Upon a Time in Hollywood when Pacino's character says he's the second greatest Italian Western director.
Yeah,
Yeah, that guy. Anyway, they were saying because he had made so many films, like you only get to a point of like making like perfect, like technically perfect films after 30 of them, right? Like,
uh-huh.
and they were like the only director they could think of is like that could in our modern time that can do that is Spielberg. Like even if you don't like his films, they're exceptionally well made. You know what I
Yeah, yeah,
mean? Like you can't like no one's he's not making incompetent films. It's just whether you're interested there. I also say after 30 films, you're not getting too excited by someone's output. You know what I mean? Like there is something to be said for reserving, like, oh, he's got a new movie. It's been a while. I wonder what he's going to do. But if there's something every year, I mean, he's got as many films in his catalog as there are Marvel movies, right? So, like,
yeah.
yeah.
It's like it's always good when he like I wasn't crazy about what's the musical he just did, West Side Story.
I tried
wasn't,
watching it.
wasn't super excited for it, but I was at least like, well, that's at least outside of the general comfort zone.
Yeah.
But also,
I tried watching it, but the
like,
minute they start singing, I'm like, I'm out. I can't.
yeah,
I can't.
yeah, I don't blame you.
It's not my thing. I tried.
Yeah, Senator remembers when Meg saw me standing by the BB-8 cutout at the theater, and Meg says he swore he was taking a picture, but he was sweating and had a look of guilt and shame on his face. I like those little BBs. I don't care if they're even, as long as there's two of them. You know what I mean? So, but and then As the Truth says, just rewatched Rogue One for the first time in several years. Much better seeing it again following Kenobi and Andor. Need Andor season 2 now. By the way, so I think was it in Meg's video or did Meg just share it on social media? I can't remember, but she shared this like video and it was like of someone saying that the Andor theme is in Rogue One, and I listened to it. I'm not sold on it. I'm not. I mean, I think it's like I think there's like that similarity. I think it's a coincidence though, and it's like when you like look at the tempo and stuff.
If they
Also,
used the theme, they would have
they'd
had
have
to credit Giacchino in the
right.
credits. So, and they don't. So it's not.
Yeah,
They
yeah,
have to, but the way the music and all that shit works out, it's not a
yeah,
choice.
yeah. I think
That's
it
why on
kind of
Kenobi you get theme by John
like a
Williams and then music by whoever the fuck did that. I forget. What's her face? I'm sorry, I just
Holt.
forget
Was
her
it
name.
Holt?
Yeah,
Holt?
Natalie Holt. Natalie Holt.
Steve Holt. Sorry,
Natalie Holt. Yeah.
not Natalie Holt.
Yeah. So
Yeah,
no, it's not. It's not.
it's just a coincidence, right?
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, yeah, like when it comes to like Williams' stuff, like Ray's theme is really really good. The prequel soundtracks are really good. My only thing about his stuff is the stuff that he did like his like Helena's theme for Indiana Jones right now. Like it's technically good. If it wasn't Williams, they'd be like, oh, that's really good.
Yeah, but if
But
he
it's
was
a little bit
firing on John Williams fucking levels, what's
yeah.
Kylo Ren's? What's the Knights of Ren's theme? What's the First Order's theme? You know what I mean? What's the Resistance theme? There is none. It
There is
doesn't
a first
exist.
order. No, there
You
is a
can't
first
remember
order
it. It
one,
doesn't.
but it's so close to the Trade Federation theme
Yeah, it just
that it's
doesn't.
like,
Yeah, you can't.
negligible.
It's not. So you could say I enjoy it. Great, you enjoy it. Hey,
Yeah.
when I listen to the score in Avatar 2 by Simon Fengren, yeah, it's fine. It's not James Horner though. Like it's not
Mhm.
anywhere near James Horner. You know.
Fucking after Willow, I'm like, yeah, where's James Horner? Where you at, bud? How
I
did James
know.
Horner die? Was it a helicopter crash?
Plane crash.
Plane crash?
It was really sad and unnecessary. I mean,
Yeah.
I'll never get into private plane. Dude, my buddy that I grew, one of my close friends, like since the second or third grade, man. Like,
Yeah.
we lost touch for a little bit, and then we got back in touch. He's like, and he was like, we became friends over airplanes, right? Like, F-16s and F-14s, 80s kids.
Yeah. Talk
When I
good, bro.
got, yeah, when I met back up with him, he's like, yeah, I got my pilot's license. I'm like, no shit. So he was telling me, yeah, I'm up there flying, and this fucking parachuter almost hit his plane. Like
Wow.
they're supposed to not skydive out of certain areas, but this dude just happened to be in the area, and
Yeah.
he almost went right through him. Like,
Jeez.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Fuck that.
I'm gonna tell you right now, Crawling Chaos. I'll put this one up, Jason.
Uh-huh.
I remember Kylo Ren and Rey's theme. Yeah, and I'm gonna say that if we put that in front of someone in a schmodown like environment to hum it, they couldn't.
Oh, that's not fair. The Schmodown people are weird.
So
Um.
and
Yeah.
and
I don't know.
and you're
I
just
mean,
jealous.
I no.
You had your shot and you blew
No,
it.
I think if I hummed the Undertaker's theme song at a Schmodown, like they would know what it was. So it's
Oh,
like,
my Undertaker! Yeah.
yeah,
So
it's I'm just saying, wrestling guys and Star Wars
the
guys.
Kid Rock theme or the '90s theme? Like,
No, don't get me wrong. I never I don't have like a problem with the Schmodown thing or anything like that. Just that whole like nerd competition thing. It's just always like,
here's what I think with those kinds of competitions. The problem isn't that they're a competition. I just think like you shouldn't be allowed to study or prep for it.
Mhm.
And I don't think this should be incredibly difficult and esoteric questions. I think there should be the game portion where, hey, if I don't get it, there's a penalty, and if I do, there's a little bit of chance. Because when it becomes like who knows the most, these poor people. I was talking to some cats. They were like stressing. They had to like watch all these movies and remember every
Yeah.
fucking thing. And I'm like, that's not. It should be about kind of what versus you going out to know everything. Like it's so when it becomes like you have to like Jeopardy. I don't want Jeopardy. I want it more like Double Dare. Like the thing the Schmodown should have done is keep the answers simple, but add the physical challenge.
Physical
Right. So if I
challenge.
don't know it, the physical challenge just eliminates half the. I don't have to worry about knowing this. I can just take the physical challenge.
Yeah, you just like
You
stick
know?
your hands up a big nose and pull out a flag and be like,
Goddamn
fuck
right.
you, bitch. R5D7.
A big
this
Finstock
peanut.
nose comes out. It's got a big fake beard mask and shit. Yeah, let's do that. Oh.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't know. Like I saw them. I saw it on YouTube one time. Like I was like watching it and I was just like, yeah, so what? I mean, like I
You
said,
telling me
if people enjoy it, I'm not knocking it. It's just wasn't for me. You know what I mean?
you telling me you wouldn't want to see Jeff Snyder have to climb the chocolate slide? Come on, man.
Yeah, but also,
and then you sending him super chats and asking him questions about Star Wars while he's doing it.
but it's like that guy's like super clear. Like I don't care about Star Wars. I don't like it. I don't. You know what I mean? He doesn't. It's not his thing. He's like he wants to watch Fox Searchlight movies. That's fine. No, you know what I mean? That's cool. Go ahead, dude. Enjoy your life. But it's like those people, they don't care about that shit. As the truth says, people say Cal's theme was an Andor or something, just similar. Speaking of which, both Stephen Barton and Gordy Hobb both like tweets saying they're composing Jedi Survivor again. So confirms that. Yeah, I would imagine if you're liking it, you are. By the way, side Indiana Jones note I forgot to bring up. One of the Russo brothers, the Marvel guys, I'm pretty sure it's a real Russo brother Twitter, but it wasn't verified. So I was like, but it seemed like everybody was treating it as if it was really him, and for some time. So I assume it is one of the Russo brothers, and retweeted that picture of the short round poster of the
Oh,
short
I
round
saw that. I
made up.
thought that was a fake Russo account, but
Was that a fake Russo account?
because I follow a few different Russos. I'll go look. You
Yeah,
keep up the
people
story.
were really acting like it was, and then he retweeted it and said like "Win Disney" or whatever, and then somebody went and made an article about it. Somebody responded to him saying that's a poorly researched article, which might have been because it was fake. But then he said, "Hey, if I get to make it, that's great." And I was like, "Fuck, is that really like a Russo brother like pushing that forward or not?" Because with Twitter's current verification system of the last couple of years, there's a chance he's just not verified. You know, they like took it away around the 2020 era of the election because of fake people who got verified using fake credentials and stuff. And so, but I don't know if that was real though. I like that it's getting around through Disney if it's true, if it's accurate, but it might not be. Like I said, there was a lot of flags, and I didn't have a lot of time to put towards it. I just kind of saw it yesterday, and I think I was wondering if Bespin Bulletin knew, and I sent him the picture. Yeah, so it was Joe Russo tweets. That's the one that did it. Joe Russo tweets. So there's a chance he said, "Hey, if poorly researched article is what gets the movie made, I'll take it." And then somebody said that to him, and he said, "Me too, especially if I get to make it." And it's like, is that Joe Russo? I don't know. I don't know. I'm not that the Joe Russo side of things is outside of my purview. It's a Marvel thing, and you guys need to tell me if it's accurate or not.
Well, the artist who did it is Ryan Manda, and
Yeah, he followed me on Twitter yesterday. I was like,
Ryan Manda should be
follow him back.
hired to go
Follow him
do
first.
some real legit fucking work for them because that's the kind of stuff we need more from with these so-called posters we're getting all the time from Lucasfilm.
Yeah, I think that like how you market a modern movie and how you should market a Star Wars movie aren't the same because when a
Correct.
modern movie comes into being, it is inherently brought into the era in which it was created. But Star Wars is 40 years old and you want it to evoke both. I would be okay with them doing both kinds of posters. Like if every single release had a vintage style poster, like a throwbacky kind of one and a modern one, I think that would be the way to go.
100%.
You know?
That's the answer.
Yeah, and it's like, and I know Drew Struzan is retired and wants to enjoy his golden years. So don't bother him, but get somebody who's like him. Somebody I mean, not the only artist in the fucking world. There's, lots of people who could be
Jason,
bringing
he's not the
interesting
only
stuff.
paint pig in the world. Get it right.
Right. And that was my other idea is maybe we could just fire all the artists and just use AI art instead that could just sample Drew Struzan's work. And it's like he did it.
Short round and the six fingers, right? Of destiny, right?
Short round and the slightly melting face, but you can kind of tell it's him.
Yeah, six fingers of destiny. Yeah.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Is that dial a dial or kind of a hexagon? I don't know what it is. But Junior Jingle says James Horner was under the influence of Vicodin, unfortunately, while he was flying his plane.
That's horrible.
Oh fuck, that's partying hard though. I could let's do some Vicodin and fly. Imagine the fucking music going on in his head at the time, That fucking Willow theme is probably right like the second Willow theme. But yeah, that's too bad. That's too bad. Was he the only one who died? If he's the only one who died, I'm like, well, that was not a good idea. But at least he was the only one he took down with him. Greenfield said at Making Star Wars, is Lars Mikkelsen pulling an Andrew Garfield on us with claims that he's not been called back to play Thrawn in the Ahsoka series? I believe that is the case. Like, to such a degree that if he's not Thrawn, if that guy is not Thrawn, then Lucasfilm is for the very first time pulling a true misinformation campaign, which they've never done before.
So I'm looking at the Wikipedia is only so accurate, but it's pretty detailed on the situation. You know, it's got a pretty detailed and sourced with the info for James Horner's death. But
Yeah.
yeah, he was the only person in the plane. He couldn't clear the landing, and
Mm.
they did determine that he had been taking prescriptions for pain relief and headaches. Butalbital, codeine, and ethanol were in his body, although ethanol may be produced by microbial activity after death. So I don't know. I mean, he might, yeah, he was taking some kind of painkiller when he was flying
Yeah.
for whatever reason, which, you know,
Yeah,
come on.
Viking's pretty fun. So it's probably pretty fun to
It's
take some Viking
horrible.
and fly around in an airplane. And it probably did it a
It's
lot of
just
times and it worked out. And then
crying
that was the
fucking
time
shame. Is
it
yeah.
didn't work out, you know? That's the thing about fucking around with drugs and stuff like that, is it's cool until it doesn't work out, you know? So you can't do it. Shouldn't do it if you want to
It
live.
breaks your heart. No.
But yeah, and now he fucked up Willow and now he fucked up Avatar. It worked, you fucking idiot.
Jason.
Don't do drugs. He did. It's his fault. It's his fucking fault. Metallica's not in Willow if he's around. We fucking know this,
Jason,
man.
you're Santa's gonna take you off the good list, and you're not even 1 month into the year. You know.
Hey, I'm just saying, when I get to hell, I'm gonna punch him right in the face. He's gonna be, what was that for? I'm gonna be like, fucking Willow and Avatar 2. And he'll be like, all right, that's fair. But
I blame. Look, this is the thing where, like, I don't know, man. I really wish Cameron had brought on, you know, Silvestri or Hans Zimmer or somebody. It's the one thing about the movie that I'm like, the music. Say what you want about the music of Terminator 1 and 2, Brad Fiedel, but the music in the film does enhance scenes,
yeah.
right? Like, you get a scene in the first Terminator movie, the music is
No,
enhancing
it's on.
the terror, the dread, or the love, or the music in Avatar 2, outside of the Horner bits, it's there and it's fine, but it's rarely enhancing. Rarely, I'm not saying sometimes it doesn't, but the one I really think about is, again, when they're underwater, when they're trying to save the big whale, right? And those like crab submarines come
Brendan
out.
and Fraser. Brendan and Fraser.
Yeah, when they're trying to save Brendan Fraser. And come on, Jason. But in those little crab submarines, and it just, the music in that scene, it's milk toast. It's just like, and he was, and I've heard him in an interview describe. He's like, "Well, I wanted to sound like breathing," and I'm like, "Don't, whatever you're doing, it's not a good take," you know. So
the score for Avatar 2, I never listened to it outside of the film. Saw the movie twice, and it's a lot like a good video game score. That's what I would give it. That's
like
not
a good Star Wars video game where they just kind of take
know,
the Williams themes and work it around a few bits.
Yeah, it doesn't.
Odd thing about it is, I wasn't a fan of the lyrical song of the first film. That was my only gripe. I was like, I don't really care for trying to do another Celine Dion type thing with Avatar, you know. But in Avatar 2, the lyrical song that plays at the end with the whale footage, I actually like that more than the actual score now. I'm like, look at that, it inversed.
Right.
I think that's a better bit of music than the actual score, but whatever.
The Crawling Chaos says, Alexa, make a vintage Star Wars poster. That's pretty funny though. But yeah, in my head right now, I was just imagining taking that movie, The Whale, with Brendan Fraser, and then, you know, I've never seen it, but you know, like how he gets like really fat, and if it has like flashbacks to like when he wasn't fat, then you could like take the footage of him wheezing the juice, and then like blame it all on Pauly Shore.
Oh, Jason.
Come on, it's funny. Hey, Lobo, nothing can ruin music more than lyrics, except for the power of love, because you ain't got money, you ain't got fame. You know?
Look, I agree with you, Lobo. However, one of the first things ever put on YouTube was Batman the Musical. Right?
Yeah.
And it's the Danny Elfman theme. And the lyrics that were added to that was, you know, that right? No, it's "You Killed My Parents." And it's so fucking good. I'm like, that's all I hear now. You killed my parents, and now I can forget what else, but it's "You Killed My Parents." So good.
Yeah. Man, that theme is good. Yeah, no, I mean, I am with you though, Lobo. Like, usually it doesn't work and there's a few times when it does work. Like Party Man, fuck, that gets me going every time in Batman. That's a good one. And Back to the Future, um, but usually it is bad. Usually you don't want to. Usually you just want to score that really sets in with the characters as opposed to, hey, we're having fun now. Like even the time in a movie that I love where I don't like it is like the original Bill and Ted film. Like some of the music in the original Bill and Ted film is fucking awful, and it's just like the opening credits music and some other parts. It's like it has
Yeah,
lyrics.
it's almost like straight to video
It was
style.
throwaway. Yeah, it was
Yeah.
bad music when it came
Yeah.
out. It was like
Yeah.
really cheap.
And the Avatar score isn't that. It's just not. It's just I just think like look, it's if you're spending fucking $400 million on a movie, get the best of everybody, you know?
Mm-hmm.
Like, and I'm sorry, but Simon Fengren is a theme park guy, and it sounds like theme park music. Like
Yeah,
it's just like that's it. You're not at the same level as the big leaguers. I'm sorry, but
yeah.
it'd be like don't. If I'm working on some, I mean, if how do I say this? If fucking Jim Lee or Todd McFarlane are drawing a book, don't replace them with me. That's not a good call. you know, you know.
I was thinking the other day, like, what if we took John Lennon off of a Beatles song and put me instead? How about
Yeah,
that? How
yeah.
about
You'll
that?
fill in. You'll fill
Yeah,
in.
it's fucking even. It's even. Um,
Yeah, get Jack Black.
Crawling Chaos says, same can be said about Star Wars movies, can be ruined by bad dialogue easily. Yeah, I find that actually like kind of interesting is that when you listen to or when you watch the movies over and over again, the bad dialogue almost becomes lyrical. Like there's a saying in music, like especially like pop music, that repetition legitimizes. So like for instance, Chuck Berry, when he was like playing a fucking song, if he fucked up, he'd be like, I didn't, people would call him on. He'd be like, I didn't fuck up. Chuck Berry just played it that way. But you know what Chuck Berry would do? When he would fuck up, he would fuck it up again the same way. So if he's like playing like a
Same with
solo,
jokes.
and
Repetition.
then
Right.
repetition legitimizes. And like it's like kind of like the same thing with like the prequels for me in the sense that I watch them so many times. It's like, yeah, it's bad.
If you make up a fucked up prequel, you make two more just to make it
You make
all
up two
seem
more
right.
and the
Right?
repetition
yeah,
legitimizes.
yeah, yeah,
No,
yeah. Just keep repeating that same mistake for about 5 years, and people will buy into it.
no, but that's what I would actually give the prequels is that the delivery is very standard. Like it's like you don't really get like super good delivery, and then it's not like you're having like Force Awakens style delivery and then Phantom Menace delivery, like in the
Except
same
the
movie. It's
except the
consistent.
actors in these movies, Jason, at the time had just like were winning Oscars or getting nominated for Oscars. I mean, like Sam Jackson just came off Jackie Brown, and Liam Neeson came off Rob Roy. I mean, Schindler's List. How about Schindler's List? I mean, like Padme came off the Professional.
The
She didn't really
Vicodin.
talk much,
Oh
but
no, sorry.
and train spotting with Ewan and shit. So like
Yeah.
all these people just came off things where they were acting, and then
Mm-hmm.
you get into that
Yeah,
film, and they're
and
not.
that, and that's what I find the most interesting about it is that it's like to some extent. I'm not saying it was the right call and we should like applaud it or anything like that, but to some extent, it is so consistent and the same that it's like they were told to do it that way.
That is the director's fault.
Yeah, all
Yeah.
of those actors didn't just start. I don't think delivering that dialogue exactly like that in those movies, and but it is consistent, and that's the one thing that's the one reason why I think it works for me, or why it does because I just go okay, this is how this movie's delivering its dialogue, and
It's
it
like
is what it is.
Othello. Remember
But
Lucas with that one?
yeah, I get what he meant by that, but it wasn't a good, kind of sold the wrong idea. You're calling Chaos says, I don't ask for much, but people in the OT sounded down to earth. The prequel sounded like George trying to do Shakespeare. And
Yeah, you kept saying he would.
Othello.
That's what I'm saying. Like before
Mm-hmm.
the Phantom Menace came out, he was telling everyone these are more like Othello. Yeah, it's more like
Yeah.
Othello. Yeah, and I'm just like fucking man.
But see, the thing for me is the original trilogy. I don't. for me, I disagree that they sounded more down to earth. I think it's that the personalities of Hamill, Fisher, and Ford are so like strong
Yeah, and then
that
and
that
their
it
personalities are the
outshined it.
characters.
Yeah, it
Yeah,
out their charisma outshined it. Is what
yeah.
it comes down to.
And none
Like
of the
Carrie Fisher.
actors in the prequels, their personalities are becoming those characters. Like they're trying. I mean, Ewan's got a personality, but he's trying to like invoke Alec Guinness at some points and then do this Shakespeare. It just doesn't. I don't know. It feels weird. Look,
Well,
I'm not gonna sit here and fucking spend an hour talking
well,
about why
yeah,
it doesn't work, but like,
no, but why
um,
does it work when it does? And it's like I think Ford and Fisher and Hamill knew that they were in something big at the time, but didn't know what it was, so they were able to believe in it, but not get consumed by it. They believed in it though. And I think that like when you by the time you get to the like Phantom Menace, those people know they're in like a cultural phenomenon and they're delivering that stuff and they just don't seem very comfortable in their skin about it. And I think that's like the big difference. And then because also I would say the sequel trilogy acting or the Disney era acting is completely different than the other ones too. Like
look,
there hasn't
it's
been
a director's job is to get performances. Period. Like
yeah.
that's it. You know, like all that other shit, the special effects, that's second AD work. First
Mhm.
AD, second AD. You know, all that other shit is your job is to work with the lead actors to get performances. George was not interested in getting performances. It is strange that George Lucas is direct. Thus, he should have been doing first AD and second AD, and the main director should have been getting performances.
Mhm.
And he could have just been sort of supervising in that way. But
He
the
should
only
have had a
reason,
Rick McCallum that was a director
Ron
who was,
Howard.
you know, and then they
Yeah,
should
I
have went.
mean,
Well, yeah, Ron Howard,
1990.
Robert Zemeckis, they all turned it down. They didn't want
I know,
Spielberg.
but
They also
that's
know.
who should have been making those films at that time. Really,
That, that is my final dream for Spielberg though would be that he directs the Star Wars before he fucks off. Just want to know.
he's
Just would
making
love just to
Bullet
see it.
though. Like I don't see.
Yeah, but I would rather it be Spielberg than a Ron Howard. You know, if we're
Would you
gonna,
be fine with an episode of like The Mandalorian,
of
like the
course.
last episode, Steven Spielberg? Like,
Sure. Yeah,
yeah.
I would still love to see a Robert Zemeckis. I'd still love to see a Robert Zemeckis and a Frank Darabont and another Ron Howard go. I would like to see. I feel bad for Ron Howard working with Lucasfilm and always having a failure because I don't think it's. I think he does good stuff. I just think he hasn't been on the right thing, at the right
Yeah.
time, and so it would be kind of nice if he got to actually conceive something a little bit earlier on than coming in. Like I think with Willow, Willow was actually really well done, but the thing about Willow is I don't think it's really like him just doing what George also wants at that time. Ron Howard was new to power in terms of directorial power. He was still like he had Cocoon, and before Cocoon, he couldn't get arrested. He was just doing whatever anybody said. And then, but you got to work with George Lucas at that point. I think George had a lot of power over that film. So
You
I
think
mhm.
you think if Ron Howard took over Boba Fett season 2, he'd just be getting healed by rocks instead of the bacta tanks? Like he'd just be crawling into a pool with rocks.
I don't
You
know.
think? Yeah.
I don't know. I just can't. When you say that, I just can't get past the idea that how bad Ron Howard would be for a Boba Fett one. You know what I mean?
No, Boba Fett needs to be John Wick in Star
Like,
Wars. They need to
like,
get some motherfucker who
well,
puts
like even
badass fight scenes every episode.
like Ron Howard being Han's doing the Han Solo one. Like Ron Howard's so much more optimistic of a filmmaker. I feel like you know what I mean. That
Like if I
like
had my way with Boba
yeah
Fett season 2, I'd get Steven DeKnight, like the guy that put together Daredevil, the series,
okay.
right? And he did Spartacus before that. Like
Well, I
that's who
like
I would
I
put.
like Spartacus when it started.
Yeah, yeah, man, that Daredevil fucking is amazing. If you haven't watched the Daredevil series, bro, all 3 seasons, fucking brilliant. So like he knows how to work within. He could do PG-13. He could tone it back, but he gets boots on the ground combat, you
Yeah.
know. And Boba Fett needs to be boots on the ground combat, you know. Yeah.
Colin Chaos says, agreed. I don't disagree with most of George's story, just the way some of the things are said. If only they had written the line differently, I would have been happy. Yeah. I mean, and like I'm ultimately am happy like with what they are. I accept them for what they are. They're fucking weird.
Yeah, I
That's
think
That's
I
what
think
I'll
it's
give it.
also fair to say, forget what we're saying now. Let's just go back to what people were saying in 1999. People were complaining about the dialogue, and these are people who were loving Independence Day and Armageddon. So like, it's not like audiences were being fickle about it. It's just when you look at personality acting in an Armageddon movie or Independence Day, and then you get Star Wars, which has been known for a big raucous special effects adventure, and everyone's trying to speak in this stilted, pseudo like transatlantic,
Yeah,
like,
1940s thing.
yeah, and you're just like, it just, people were like, what is this? It didn't, and you could say, well, I didn't mind because I was 8. Well, fuck, I like Condor Man when I was
Yeah,
8. That's not exactly a superhero movie I'd put in front of people as the bar the bar
but like
standard.
like George Lucas had a window of being culturally relevant to his likes, to his nostalgia. By the time you get to us being like early 20s, late teens, uh his stuff had expired. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah,
American Graffiti and A New Hope, that's his window of relevancy.
and that's when he was still working with actors, like really American Graffiti with A New Hope. He's like kind of fighting actors in a way. Like if you see how they're kind of always antagonizing George on set and shit, like
Yeah,
it's more antagonistic, and then it gets more antagonistic for him as it goes on. I
yeah,
think American Graffiti and THX 1138 was the last time he was like a filmmaker on the ground with an actor getting a performance in a documentary style. The
yeah.
minute he starts trying to do like, this is a stage and a scene, that's not what he does. It's odd to me, like how, like, I don't know why that changed for him. I don't understand the thinking there,
Hmm?
but but I do wish that, I mean, imagine had George had just shot the Phantom Menace more like American Graffiti and less like it's a bunch of set pieces with characters that are moving around.
Right.
Like if it was just a 24-hour, like it's trying to get off the planet, like if they were trying to get off the planet during the invasion, and then the Jedi show up at the last second kind of thing, like they get the signal out for the Jedi to, or something. So it's
Yeah.
more experiential. The minute he starts trying to like place actors, and I think Braveheart fucked George. I think he felt like he had to make something like that.
Well,
Like,
he would put that like onto the ILM shoulders. Like, I don't want to make that movie, but you can do that in the background, ILM.
fair enough.
Like that's what I think. You know what I mean?
Yeah, fair enough.
And yeah, and so just now, I couldn't not remember Bradford Young's name just now, and
The
because
Arrival.
somebody just said, Ginger Jingles said, Ron Howard equals too dark and grimy color palette in Solo. It makes no sense. Was it his bad directing or a bad lighting crew? Well, ultimately, that was a choice by Bradford Young, who was making that choice for another group of directors,
Yeah.
and then who continued on. And then Ron Howard takes the movie over. Shit has to match. It ultimately was usually too dark. And I agree with you like 100% on the look of that movie. And when they went to do a lot of the reshoots, the sets look cheap, so it looks dark and cheap sometimes, and it's just like, come on. And so yeah, I don't know. I don't like Bradford Young does really good work. I don't know why that one doesn't work. Why
Because
that one?
Lawrence and John Kasdan wanted a drama. They
Mhm.
wrote the script and they wanted a drama. And they cast, for some reason he got the Lego guys, like Lawrence Kasdan picked them out the hat. And Bradford Young was chosen to add that dramatic, dark feel that they wanted. And the tone of, so that's why I said from the script, from the beginning, the tone of that whole project was off. And no one
Yeah,
was on the same page. And I think the Russos, when they're like, oh, they're making this more cartoony, I'm like, no, I think they got that Solo is supposed to be more fun, and they were putting that in the movie regardless. And that just, and Lawrence Kasdan's the real one. When they go, oh, Alden Ehrenreich ratted him out, I'm like, Lawrence Kasdan's the guy who fucking went to Kathleen Kennedy and was like, Lawrence Kasdan's the one who sort of ghost produced that project in a way. And so like,
yeah.
it's just a,
There's the writers are on set for the Star Wars movies almost all the time. There's
right.
usually a writer like Christopher McQuarrie. I had documents with Christopher McQuarrie being on set for Rogue One, like for most
Right.
of it, for not most of it, but for a lot of it. So yeah, so he was probably there going like, that's not how this there was probably some of that stuff, but
Yeah.
like I said,
Well,
I
because
heard
Kathy
the
even said it.
real
Lawrence
it was
came to me
covered.
and said,
Mhm.
I should maybe look at the dailies, and so then we went in. And, I mean, that's their own words. I mean, that's maybe some kayfabe to that, but like, I got it. That's all I got to go on, right? So
Yeah,
it's most likely that. But that's what I'm saying. Like when you say Bradford Young's a brilliant director of photography, had he had been the director of photography for, um, Rise of Skywalker, Rise of Skywalker, fucking stupid name, but a more dramatic, an appropriately dramatic film, fine. But
sure.
it's just weird. That film's all over the place.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, especially, yeah, it didn't match. KG says I hated Solo at first. I wasn't sure why, but it's grown on me over the years. Yeah, my thing with I think if they had kept making Star Wars movies, if they hadn't slowed down so hard and pandemic and all that shit, I think I would be a lot keener on it. But we just like it kind of like it's like sat there like being so prominent, and it doesn't really deserve it, but it doesn't deserve to be hated either. It just should have been a Star Wars movie that came out and we saw and we moved on and we kept getting stuff, but we stopped getting stuff. So it's just like there it is, and it's really weird. I completely disagree with the whole make Solo 2 happen thing, though. I don't think that's the way to go. I
No.
think I think making a movie and putting Han Solo in it is fine. Is perfectly fine. But also I think that the what are the Lego guys' names? Lord and Miller, right?
Mm-hmm.
They I think they were going for like more of I think they wanted to do more of like a Marvel kind of thing with it, like a 70s Star Wars kind of thing going with it. And then I think like they
Which is what it
ultimately
should have
wanted,
been. More of a
yeah.
'70s Smoking and the Bandit kind of fucking fun
Yeah.
thing, and
Yeah.
not a
And
dramatic World War I meets the Sergio Leone, meets 20,000 Leagues Under the Sea meets, you know what I mean? Like there's like four different fucking films in there, and it doesn't know which one it's trying to be at any given time. It's
and I'm going to be honest with you. There was like things about that script that I sensed, and after Willow, I feel it really hard.
John Kasdan.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah. I
I'm
don't I
not a
don't
fan of his writing, man. I don't like it.
yeah,
I'm
I
sorry.
yeah, at this point right now, I nothing against him. You know what I mean? He seems like a nice person and stuff. But I'm a little bit like,
Sure.
come on, like we need to get. I think he's done his stuff. So let's try
I don't
something
have
else.
any personal issue with M Night Shyamalan. Unbreakable's like in my top 5 films of all time, but I
Yeah,
don't think Shyamalan should be writing Star Wars or
yeah.
Willow. You know?
Oh, for sure. Yeah. Oh God, if we Kennedy was like a huge supporter of his career, and it's like fucking if this all happened in the wrong era, oh God, we would have had M. Night. But M. Night did, I believe, write a pass of Indiana Jones that was turned down by them.
Yeah,
Thank God.
from the Rinsler book.
Shogun says, I think when you put Star Wars on a movie, everything gets skewed. An all right movie is seen as bad because it's not a masterpiece like Star Wars must always be. Yeah, I know. That's
Yeah, but
that's
part of
that's
that's
what.
Lucasfilm's problem when they, and this is predates Disney, when they, I told you, when you call your product a saga every fucking time, and you're like in a generation, like a generation, like no one, like it's, you either do that as a goof or if you take your shit real serious. So you know, Lucas already started that with, in my opinion, the marketing of the special editions. The special
Yeah,
edition marketing sort of set everything up like this is real Hollywood coming back, like, and then with the prequels
yeah,
it was really biting into that fucking, with the every letter's gold, chrome, like,
hmm,
nothing like, nothing flat and one color about it. It's all like airbrush chrome letters and shit, like everything's like shiny gold, like it's a Trump fucking tower. I don't know, man. It's just they took it too serious, so it's
yeah,
just the way it is, man.
yeah. I mean, but we can fix that ourselves if they don't. We can go. You go. You know what? This is just a fun fucking spaceman show I watch and enjoy it. Or not, but not take it so fucking seriously. Like that's where I'm at with everything. That's where like my whole take on all of this has been. hey, I got 6 movies I like, and I'm like, if the rest of the shit sucks, I'm fine, But and I've had a good time. I've enjoyed myself. So Calling Chaos says, fortunately, Solo is doing better on Disney Plus. Good for Ron Howard. Yeah, but I don't know. I don't know what that gets him. You know what I mean? I don't know how much that helps him, if at all. But his daughter's rocking Star Wars right now, so that's cool. KG says M Night Shyamalan Ding Dong did some of my favorite movies. KG, me and my son, we were watching that movie Old, and it's like not good, but I liked it. I was enjoying it. But there's this part where the lady goes, she is like, lady's obviously turning old, and she's all, I was in love once. His name was Jalipsy, or something like that. I think I put it on the show, and me and my son just started fucking cracking up. It was like literally like the worst dialogue that could have went in that place. He found it and he did it. He's nuts. But hey, Mr. Murphy, Mr. Murphy says there's still a lot of that movie unfinished that we probably won't see. Mainly want to see the role Jeremy Blake, who was Masamita in the prequels, or is that Jerome Blake, who was Masamita in the prequels, played Michael K. Williams as an alien, Dryden Voss. Yeah, I think Voss was like a cat. Back then, I got to see the archive of photos for Solo: A Star Wars Story before it changed. Like when, in that fight sequence, in the bar where you first meet L3, um, Warwick Davis played Fight Droid 2 in the original version of that. I think things changed when Ron Howard's brother came in. But anyways, there was like a regal cat, like alien. And I think that might have been Michael K. Williams' character. But unfortunately, I don't have that stuff. I just got to see it one night at a bar. So, as the truth says, Disney have announced Mando 3 trailer had 83.5 million views total. Kenobi attracted roughly 58 million. See, that's interesting because that must be in total, because we were looking at the trailers today, and like Kenobi still had more on like the main released video. But the other thing about that is it's not free. Those views aren't all free. And I can just tell you from personal experience that that's not the case, because I did this show, went into my front room, got my Hungry Man TV dinner. Okay, that's a lie. I didn't have a Hungry Man TV dinner, but let's just pretend I did. I got my chicken fried steak and my little corn right here, and I turned on YouTube. And when I did, the very first ad when I went to watch a video was the Mando 3 trailer. And then the next 5 times I had an ad on YouTube, it was the Mando 3 trailer. So Disney's clearly dropping in some serious fucking money to get those ads played. And I think those count as views on the trailer. So, in other words, Disney could go, in theory, not that they did, and I'm not saying that, but buy 83 million views of the trailer and then say we had 83 million views, because they literally forced me to watch it. And I could have skipped it, but I enjoyed it for what it was. I was like, hey, I'll watch it. I'll watch the one you bought me. You paid for Disney. I'll watch it. But
So you're saying they didn't pay for Kenobi trailers?
yeah, I don't think so. I don't think they would have. Well, I'm not saying it like, I don't know what I'm saying. What I'm going with is Mando 3 is a bigger surefire investment for Disney than Obi-Wan Kenobi. So if I was in charge of Disney Plus and we had like marketing movie money for the next 2 or 3 years, and I was allocating money, I would definitely allocate more to Mando 3 because Grogu merch fucking sells. And there wasn't really a lot of opportunities in Kenobi that for stuff like that, like things that they tried to get that CD wallet to fucking sell. Nobody wanted that shit, Lola. And and but it wasn't a Grogu. And the Grogu thing is like, well, we have Grogu merch on the shelves right now. We have Grogu merch being created right now, and we have every single reason to want people to buy this stupid shit. So therefore, investing in the Mando 3 trailer is investing in selling your Grogu merch as well. So I think I wouldn't be surprised if the marketing or if the budget on Mando 3 is way bigger because of the amount of money. And remember, these studios how they do their funny accounting is they'll go and they'll make Mando for, $120 million. Then they'll say it cost $300 million to do it in the end because they paid themselves $150 million to market the movie or the show.
Oh, that's not just them, man. I've
Oh
worked
yeah,
with the
they all
independent
do that.
game publishers
Mm-hmm.
who are like, "Oh, we'll fund your game for let's say 100 grand." You're like, "Oh, that's great," and we're gonna charge you 50 to fucking market it.
Yeah.
And you're like, "What do you mean you're charging me 50? My budget isn't 100; it's 50 grand." You know what I mean? And you're just like, "What?" And they don't do shit, and you're like, "You just took 50 grand. Like, where's the $50,000 of marketing?"
Well, that's what it was like. Like when I was in college, I worked at, we had like a student union building, and my job when I wasn't doing teaching stuff was working in an office and for like the student union, and Repro Graphics was in our fucking building. They were
Always
up.
are.
But if I wanted to get a sign made, I had to pay Repro Graphics like they were a business. You know what I mean? It was just it's
I used to work in one of those print things at a college, so it's true. The
yeah.
real nightmare of that scenario, though, Jason, especially with those publishers, is that yeah, so they take 30, 50 grand out of your $100,000 budget, but then what they do is say, "Oh no, you still owe us the 100 grand, so we don't start paying you till we make 100 grand off the sales." So they're getting another 50 grand off the top from sales,
And
right?
that's how Bohemian Rhapsody never made money but made $1 billion.
Right.
That kind of
They
that
because they
exact
they claim $980 million in marketing budget.
yeah. Well, and
Yeah.
that's what I mean. To some extent, I could be wrong, but I expect that Disney Plus is going to magically have this turnaround in numbers in the coming like year, and content price and stuff like that, because I think that they were just throwing a lot of shit at Disney Plus that they weren't justifying, and they were making it sound like Disney Plus is like this big money sink, because the idea was that Disney Plus was supposed to be a money sink at first. It was a big investment in getting into the market, you know, carving out their market share. And so I kind of think that they probably were doing a lot of shit like that. And I wouldn't be surprised if that's how we see this turn around. There was a new article from January 20th, 2023, which is today. Daisy Ridley shares Star Wars advice to female leads. It's important to tune out the stuff. I think she means the shit. Daisy, and this is from Variety. Daisy Ridley became one of the Star Wars franchise's most prominent female actors when she took the role of Rey in Star Wars The Force Awakens. Rey was the face of the final trilogy in the Star Wars saga, catapulting Ridley into the global spotlight and forcing her to deal with toxic trolls who did not like the Star Wars franchise prioritizing her character. Does Ridley have any advice for female actors joining Star Wars universe? And she says, the world is a crazy place, Ridley said to Variety Studio presented by Audible at Sundance. Jesus Christ. It's important to tune
Jesus.
out that stuff. Two major
Did they
upcoming
win an iHeart Award too? Like, oh, sorry.
Hey, hey, that's prestigious, bud. Um, two upcoming
Prestigious.
two upcoming Star Wars series on Disney Plus are set to spotlight female characters in leading roles. Amandla Stenberg is headlining The Acolyte, which boasts Leslie Headland as its showrunner, while Rosario Dawson is reprising her role of Ahsoka in an eponymous series. Not just with Star Wars, but with
What's an
everything.
eponymous series mean? What's eponymous?
Eponymous, like for instance, there's an REM record called Eponymous, and it was like odds and ends and remixes and stuff. Like, just that's kind of like the easiest way to explain the word without looking it up. But you know what? We live in the future. We can just right click on the word
Yeah,
and look
yeah.
it up.
Look that one up. I don't know what that means. I'm stupid.
Yeah, you are. Um,
I know.
hold on. Are you able to see the definition on the screen, or am I the only
No,
one who
I
sees?
just it's still
Okay.
highlighting eponymous.
Okay, so eponymous, giving their name to something, the eponymous hero of a novel, a thing named after a particular person. Roseanne's eponymous TV hit series. Oh wow, so
Okay.
that does not mean what I thought it meant.
No, you didn't know that either.
No, I thought it meant something else. That's why I looked it
Yeah.
up though, because I was kind of like, maybe I
So
don't know.
all these shows are eponymous series, right?
So
Andor's an
it's
eponymous series.
it's like titular.
Yeah.
You know what? You could say eponymous and not make me think of tits every time, guys. We solved it. All right. So
I just thought we all should learn that fucking word. All right.
not just with Star Wars, but with everything. You try and be in the moment and enjoy what it is, because life movies quickly.
Did she just watch Ferris Bueller? That is literally what Ferris. If Ferris Bueller says you don't stop and take a look around every now and then, you're gonna miss it. Like Mile moves fast. Like she's just quoting Ferris Bueller.
I think it's a typo though, because it says life movies. Amanda Stenberg can handle herself. She's been working for a long time. I sat next to someone at the Wakanda Forever premiere, an executive, and they said the Acolyte is amazing.
It's okay, Ridley. We all go to the zoo sometimes.
And then she goes on to say, everyone knows how things are and how they can be, Ridley concluded. We're all living in that, with people saying more than they need to and commenting more than they need to. That's so
definitely the show.
Find the good in it and enjoy it. Ridley is at Sundance this year with her film Sometimes I Think About Dying, in which she plays a depressed cubicle worker who's shaken out of the doldrums. Okay, we need to look up this word too. Doldrums.
Oh, that's a Lucas word. That's the blues. You got the blues, the drugs,
doldrum.
The Joe Volcanoes
of inactivity, stagnation, or depression. Doldrum.
Yeah. The blues.
Doldrum.
I know that one.
Yeah, Doldrum. If I was a drummer, I make my name like Jason Doldrum, right?
Honestly, I don't know why that isn't a Star Wars character.
Yeah. Should be the drummer's name in Jabba's palace. Of her life and a new office mate. I was very nervous, Ridley said, about premiering the movie in Park City. I knew we made a good movie, but it was strange. When you know what's coming, it's like, how are people going to receive this? It was nerve-wracking for me because of the storyline is away from the last. So I hoped people would still be into it. And then that's
and then she realized most people are never going to see this film. So who cares?
Probably. Yeah. Hopefully we get her back in a good, non-forced in way that's really natural in the coming I don't know, the sequel trilogy.
Quick question before we go.
Yeah.
Did we ever get like reviews of Ahmed Best's play with the VR helmet, all the AR stuff that he was doing? Like, remember we had him on and he was gonna do that whole like
Yeah,
he was doing that whole like technology play. And did we ever get word on it? Like,
no, the one night that I was going to go, we had a COVID scare and I had to test, and then I was like, so I was like, I'm not gonna. I'm like, what if I go and I give Ahmed Best fucking COVID?
Yeah,
I could have went. I could have went, but in the end, I didn't have COVID. I went 3 years without getting COVID, and then I got COVID. But yeah, so I ended up missing that window, that shot. And then after that, my kids were sick, and I was like, well, do we have COVID? And it's just saying no, and then no, we didn't have COVID. But anyways, yeah. But all right, guys, we'll see everybody on Monday. If anything big happens over the weekend, which I highly doubt, I'll jump back on, and
I will not.
Rob won't, but I will.
I refuse to.
But everybody have a good weekend. Thank you to everyone for the super chats. Thank you, Make the super chat for supporting the show. What's up, Rob?
Have an eponymous weekend.
Have an eponymous weekend. What does that mean now?
It means have a you weekend, Jason.
Oh, you're saying have a titular weekend.
Have a Jason weekend. Have a if you're Meg, have a Meg week. Have an eponymous.
Have an eponymous titular weekend.
Yeah.
Anyways, yeah. So be cool, stay in school, and then all right. Say bye, Rob.
Yeah, bye, Rob.
It's the end of the show.
Come on, let's go. Hey!
It's the end of the show.
Come on, let's go. Hey!
It's the end of the show.
Come on, let's go. Hey!
You know you should go.
Come on, let's go.
It's not about spaceships.